This card will break Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay guys, today let's find out if this card will break the game.
Guys, Promethean Princess, the Bestower of Flames. So, as you guys know, this is going to be one of the cards that's getting released in the upcoming set, Phantom Nightmare. And I kind of want to talk about this card. I feel like this card is on the same power level as, like, Elf. Am I crazy for that? Like, Elf, Isolde. Like, it's just such a broken card. It's kind of like...
I tested this card in Master Duel and I can definitely tell it's really powerful card. And I also love the artwork and I pulled the royal rare of this. Oh, my favorite card.
Talk about it. So it takes 2+ effect monsters. And yeah, it's not as generic for sure. But if you're playing a fire deck, it's like insane. So while she's face up on the board, you're like locked into fire monsters. And during your main phase, you can special summon one fire monster from your graveyard. That's her effect. And then if a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field of the field while this card is in the graveyard, you can target one fire monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, destroy them if you do summon this card back. So not only is it like it's an extender, it's a combo piece, it's an interruption. It's like everything you want in like an extra deck card, right?
I play this right now in Vanadium and it's also really nice in Vanadium.
So let's kind of like let me show you why I thought I feel like this card revolutionized. It kind of revolutionized a lot of decks. And I'll show you exactly what I mean, right? So one of the things that I've realized is like one card combos typically loses to one hand traps, right? Like when you played against Rescue Ace, oh my god, the hand was broken. Typically you would hold impermanences for turbulence, correct? Like most people, if your opponent like does their stuff, you always usually hold imperm. Like you usually hold imperm and you wait for them to summon turbulence and then you imperm the turbulence, right? Usually on summon or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think that's correct. In Master Duel, Rescue Ace is about to getting really powerful support. And yeah, this is super actual for Master Duel. Yeah, TCG is about to getting this card and this card is just, this will break the game.
Those lines. Well, you'll see why it's going to be a lot more difficult to like, it's like use where to like you want to use your hand traps. Like it seems like you're going to want to hand trap as early as possible. Because look, let's say you like wait, like let's say you let your opponent do all this, another mid lifter, right? Like you know, wanted for witch effect summon lifter. I mean summon set original sending the witch, summoning the hydrant effect would search you lifter. Normal the lifter will get you emergency. That's typically what people would do in the past. And then if you activate emergency, you tribute the airlifter, and then they can imperm turbulence, and you don't really have a way to play around imperm. But now what you could do is something more absurd. Let's say you add, instead of emergency, you add alert. And then you go alert, add turbulence, right? Alert can add you turbulence because you control a hydrant on the field. Now you're able to make SP Little Knight with these two.
If you don't get rolled.
And then summon turbulence. Now, obviously, your opponent's going to have to imperm your turbulence on summon, right? Because if they do it on effect, you can chain SP to dodge the impermanence.
Oh man, SP gonna such a good card.
Before Princess comes out, making SP here is kind of troll because you're not actually playing around imperm. You're not actually playing on imperm because your opponent just imperms on summon. You look crazy stupid, right? Well, the issue is with Promethean Princess in the game, if they imperm turbulence on summon, which they have to, you just make Princess and bring back turbulence, then go turbulence effect and guarantee that you're setting 4. Like,
this is
like
insane.
that is insane.
Wow.
Like that is insane. Because now it kind of like changes the dynamics of hand traps. Like you're like, you can't just like wait for turbulence out. You have to like kind of like throw your hand traps in early and hope it's enough. Because if by the time your opponent gets to these extenders and all these extra cards, they're able to just play around your imperm naturally.
Yeah, like Shifter, Droll, Maxi, I think these are the only cards that will stop the opponent in the long run.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is just an example that I kind of wanted to show about why like Promethean Princess kind of breaks the game. Right?
Yeah, now you can link type into the level 4.
Yeah, you just have 4 here, right? And the craziest part is, if your opponent in that spot, right, doesn't have let's say they don't, and then another cool part about the card is that, let's say like best case scenario, let's say your opponent does not have an imperm. What it lets you like allows you to do and extend into some like really nice lines, in my opinion, because you're able to go, because like in this scenario where you have hydrant add lifter, you're able to go and get rescue alert. Alert will get you turb. Now look at why this is kind of nice. Just to make SP, E7 turbulence. Now, let's say your opponent doesn't have the imperm and this resolves. Right, you set. Now you can set rescue, you can set emergency. Now what you can do is you can actually link these two off into princess and use princess to bring back the hydrant. And now all of a sudden, guys, your emergency is live. Like your back row's live now. So now you can go like emergency. Right? Summon preventer, tribute preventer, bringing you back airlifter. Right? Like that's crazy, in my opinion. So like that's kind of like what I mean. Obviously, you can turn these two into, let's say, a Sunlight Wolf. Then you
I think the Link 4 is even stronger here. Keep that on the radar, guys.
can use this to make Karibo. Silent Wolf effects can add you back like any of these. Like let's say you add back Lifter for next turn, sure. And now you can make Heat Soul. Right, Heat Soul draws your card. On your opponent's turn, it draws you another card. And then you have Princess to pop the Heat Soul to interact with your, right, to like pop one of your opponent's monsters. You could also, instead of Heat Soul, you could also go for something different, right? You could also go for Amlo Whale, right? So you can end on Amlo Whale plus a Hydrant with Princess in the grave.
Such a broken combo, man.
Right, so you have Princess in the grave.
But I like the Heat Soul line as well.
And this is your pretty much your board, right? So you end on this, which is like fine as well. It's not too shabby. So like this is the other option. You have this, like pop this, and you like this, bring this back. So you have a Book of Moon. You have a Book of Moon, 2 traps, this, right? I think it's better to go for Sunlight and 2 multiple draws. For sure, Sunlight is better line. But
I like this more. You have more interruptions here.
the way, Sunlight, Karibo, multiple draws is pretty good. And then add back.
That's debatable.
If you want, yeah. So like this is pretty much what the combo ends on. So I think like this is kind of clean. The last one yet I haven't. But
definitely.
I think that's why Prince is like so strong, because of the fact that like it serves as an extender and it makes it all the combos like way better. Another cool thing that you can do is, and this is kind of like the thing with like Bonfire. Does Nib cancel Nib's effect? No, it doesn't, because your opponent is summoning the Nib to your field, not the other way around. But the other thing that I think is interesting about a card like Promethean Princess is the fact that from a game design perspective, right? I'm just gonna pull this card back up. From a game design perspective, whenever they print new fire cards in the future, they always have to keep this card in the back of their heads, you know? It's like when Elf was in the game and Gigantic's in the game, they always have to keep in track of like, okay, if I print this monster and it's level 2, like, you know what I'm saying? I have to think a little bit more about it. So it's not really future-proof, right? So what does that
Only in Master Duel, baby.
mean? I think that this card will eventually just get banned. Like, I think like that's like the natural progression of like cards like these, because from a future-proof perspective, it's like really hard to like always take into account this card, you know.
That's why I like having multiple formats. Like you can play. Maybe it get banned in TCG, but you still have it in Master Duel or OCG. I think it's nice to have multiple formats. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below.
A little bit early to talk about like which cards getting banned and all that good stuff, but I'll be curious to see like how OCG addresses some of the fire staples.
100% getting banned.
in their next ban list, right? The other reason why I think cards like Princess is also really nice is also the fact that the Charmers are now like way more valuable, right? If you really think about it, the fact that you can convert any Charmer into Princess is insane, right? Because Princess is generic, so now your Charmers are like way more powerful. Obviously, you can go into Celine with them, right? But you need spellcasters, and having fire monsters are actually just easier than having spellcasters. And if your opponent, for some godforsaken reason, Ash Blossoms you, you can make Hida to take their Ash, and then make a Princess. Like the fact that like if your opponent ashes you and you have any way to 2 monsters, automatically.
And now you can bring back the Hida.
Take Ash, make Princess, bring back, and then you make Will, right? So you have like an interruption still.
2.
And then you like go this, pop this.
2 interruptions.
This back. That triggers the Will to bring back the Hida. And then now like if they clear this or they clear this, it triggers the Will to banish itself to pop a card on their field as well.
No.
Yeah, the viewers probably saying I Ash now, huh? That card is insane.
Such nice synergy with Ash being Fireman.
You could get them for $9. If you want them fast, I'm saying off direct. What's up? But yeah, no, I think like Promethean Princess is definitely gonna be one of those cards that I think really just breaks the game in my opinion.